us for a little while today. We got a little bit to talk about, mostly fall camp practice. That's kind of what we're want to look at. I got some stuff from Coach that I'm really interested in. Coach Golesh, going to look at him and his bit and what he had to say. And Coach Grubb, we've heard from Coach DeBoer, and we could go back and look at some of the rankings and all that kind of stuff if y'all want to do that too. But make sure you hit the thumbs up, like the video, and we will get started right here. All right, so what's the good word for today? Hope everybody's doing great. Hope everybody's getting in everything they need for the day. And everybody's been busy today. It's been a little warm today. Y'all hit the comment section over here. Give me some comments of stuff you want to talk about or whatever it is you got on your mind. We'll be glad to bring it up over here and kick around anything y'all got or whatever you feel like talking about. So honestly, probably right out of the gate, an overarching view, I'll say that first, of practice here for Auburn and for Alabama. Again, and this is from talking to some people that's, one guy I talked to has actually been there at the practice. So that's pretty interesting. I want to share this with you that Bama practice seems very professional right now. There is some, of course, we know Grubb worked. He does have some pro background, that type of stuff. And I do like Nick's being there, helping the wide receivers. It seemed this is just what I was told. It seems very professional. Like Bama's camps, their practice is, and all coaches are going to have a few wasted reps and that type of stuff. We're talking about practice day, Auburn and Alabama today, both teams having camp and stuff. What's going on, Zachary? Talking about some day one camp, day two, really camp. So we're going to hear from Coach Grubb, take some comments from him. And Coach Golesh, some things I heard from him that I like today. And this is sports reporting, and we got to report on our SEC guys. And when Auburn is crap, I'm going to call it out. Their fans don't like it because they're hypersensitive. And if you're not a fan, it's like if you're not in that base with Auburn fans, like, who are you? You can't talk about us. Only we can talk about. Well, yeah, I can talk about. I'm not a particular fan of that team. But when there's bad stuff, I call it out. And when there's good stuff, I want to highlight it. So hang around. We're going first, we're going to see Coach Golesh. But overarching, what I heard today, one guy that was at Alabama down there today seemed very professional overall. He said the tight end room at Alabama, the guys look big. They look big and strong. They got 4 or 5 really good tight ends. Now, the Auburn reporting that I have here, it comes from guys that I keep up with and I watch podcasts with, and we're fixing to put Coach Golesh. We're going to put him up on the screen. Now, so I watch guys that keep up with that, from the War Report to Zach Blackerby at Locked on Auburn, and they had a little concern with maybe the Neptune guy. Like, they got a receiver that's still kind of hurt. Also, Auburn was excited about, I think, Champ Anthony moving around and coming back in and playing some. He's probably going to be playing mostly nickel position. And some guys that I know personally that I covered in high school, I'm really curious about Alvin Henderson. I'd like to know more about Alvin, and I want to see if I can get – I know they're busy right now. I'd like to get Zach to answer me about Alvin. What the heck is going on with Henderson? I really would like to see him play this year. And there is just no talk about Alvin playing at Auburn. None. Everything's about Mabson being the number 2 behind Cobb, and maybe Washington getting some reps behind him. Offensive line play at Auburn so far, of what they're talking about and what I'm seeing, they got their left tackle. They feel like it's sealed deal. Some of their guard play is still moving around, still trying to find guys. That's at Auburn, and to relevate that over also to Alabama with their guard play. I think Carroll, which has been there and played there. Now we also have the Sanders kid. He's come back too, and he had been hurt in the spring and didn't get to a lot of snaps here in the summer, so we're getting to see more now. I think the tackle spots are sealed fairly well at Alabama. Talking about offensive line play at Alabama and Auburn. We're going to listen to Coach Golesh, and he had some things I liked, so I want to point those out. So I'm just giving you an overall macro, not a micro, but a macro view of kind of practice. And it's day 2, okay? It's day 2, and this is still, you got to remember, some of these guys, this is some of the first times the coaches are getting to see them all together. Not everybody, but for a lot of it. So quarterback play, from what I'm told at Alabama, Keelan looks great. The ball flies off his hands. They all feel, from what I'm told, the guy that was there, he was handing off the ball to Daniel Hill. But, and I told him too, in which he knows this, that don't mean nothing because Austin Mack was handing off to AK Deer. Well, then Keelan will turn around and hand off to Deer because they're going to get reps with the ones. They're going to get reps with the ones. Yeah, Auburn's got I'm worried about their quarterback room. Maybe, Brown may do a good job this year, but if he gets hurt or something happens, I just don't see them being productive at all. So here's Coach Golesh. I want to point out some things, and we'll play a few minutes of this, and then we're going to go over Coach Grubb. He talks about the run game stuff. But some of Coach Golesh's talk is team stuff, and it's such a huge, big bag of rotten toenails at Auburn. The program stink is so bad, he's going to have to pull out and keep pulling out this old fungus and this old growth. And I don't know how long it's going to take. But I like what he said, so let's hit the video and play. That's just overall view of what I just told you. I talked to a guy that was at Alabama, and then, of course, I got some reviews that we talked about from guys that's been to the Auburn camp. So let's see what Coach Golesh has to say, and y'all follow along here. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate y'all the love.
So it's really, really hard to tell. We'll have a accelerated walkthrough type day tomorrow, and then we'll put shells on day 4. I don't know what day of the week it is, but whatever the 4th day of camp is. And then we'll go a couple of days in shells, and then we'll be able to go tackle early next week. So,
yeah, I think they're in pads tomorrow. Wait a minute. No. Yeah. I think they're in pads tomorrow, which I don't mean like padded pants. You know what I mean.
Really solid, I would say, would be where we are. We're further ahead on both sides of the ball. That's what's so awesome. I said it the other day, but you got the summer schematically, so now you can work matchups, you can work a lot of different things. Did some situational football with third downs today. Really good to compete there at the end. The guys are learning what it really looks like, learning how to take care of each other, but play hard. So I'm good with where we are. We're not nowhere near where we got to be, and we certainly will get there. Questions?
Jacob Strand was a guy you didn't get to see a lot of in the spring, but obviously without Ty, what have you seen out of him early, and is he a guy that can factor into that because of his experience?
Yeah, man, really, really solid 2 days, and you kind of, I want to say forget about him just because he didn't go through it in the spring, but man, that kid's a tough, athletic kid that's played a bunch of football. You always want to know how it translates, but man, he's held his own the last 2 days, no pads, but highly intelligent. Man, that kid had to do a lot to be able to be eligible. He had to graduate from Oregon State. He took 46 hours between here and there the last spring and summer. So I know Jake. Yeah, man, through
in the summer, but
he's gonna help us in a big way.
Have you seen the difference kind of with the tight ends? I know you talked about earlier.
No, I'm going to skip through some of this because I have seen this, and there's some high points I kind of want to hit. So if you want to go back to the whole thing, that's cool. But we're just, trying to hit some high points. I'm going to do the same thing. We'll have Coach Grubb on here in just a minute.
In the summer, but those guys being healthy, like Arlos and Eccles and those guys, just what have you seen from that group early on now that a lot of those guys are back to 100%?
He's talking about tight ends, by the way.
Yeah, man, through 2 days we kept it really simple, but I know I've said this before. I think those guys healthy, and they're so different and so unique. They're what gives us the multiplicity on offense that I think will allow us to take a huge step. Like we just haven't had that the last couple of years. So we're going to continue to knock on wood that they stay healthy. They're such unique skill sets, and they're so different. Like I get a little bit giddy thinking about how many different things you can do with those guys between packages and then what they can do for you on third down in the red zone. they're so different. You got some veteranness there with Jake and Arliss. You got some youth, even though Jonathan Eccles has played a ton of football. He's still young. He has never gone through a spring, which is unique. So we're force feeding him. We're making him go be really physical, and he's answered the bell. He's always kind of answered the bell. And then you've got this Newsome character who is like this big pot of clay that you can mold however you want. I'm really excited about him. Hunter is fascinating. He's a quarterback that's punted, that's played some receiver, that we're making into a tight end hybrid type guy. He's another kid that's really smart that you could do a ton with. So I think if that group can stay healthy, it'll allow us to be really uniquely different on offense, which gets me excited.
Coach, I think we're talking to Cody Sigler today. Just what type of impact player can he be? What do you want to see from him out of this fall camp?
Yeah, he has so much value because he can do so many different things. That played D2 in the state. Then
Spencer has proven to be a young talent in a room full of veterans that you had at USF. What is it like to have that kind of young talent on the team, and what do you think he can provide to this receiving corps that maybe the others don't?
Yeah, you say veteran group. In some ways, I feel like it's a really young group. You got a handful of guys that have played a ton of football, but it's still a young group. You get past Keyshawn and Chaz, it's a young group. It's an energetic, talented group, but it's young. And I said this in the spring. You saw it in the spring game. He's mature beyond his years in the sense of football intelligence. Like,
in terms of the wide receiver group, Chaz is the guy that come in with them. He was a 3-star kid. I think he's from Florida. He is I think Chaz is a senior, I think.
He comes from a really good program. He's been coached really hard. All he's done is win, and then it translates really, really quickly because he's come in, he's worked incredibly hard. He's got stuff you can't really coach. Like, he's got really good spatial awareness. He's got a knack to go get the football. And for not being a big kid yet, he's got a frame where he'll carry it. He's just 18 years old, just turned 18. Like, he's a kid that has got a really, really bright future. The football savviness is what you can't really teach, and he's got it. He also spends as much time as anybody in here so that he's prepared. He's earned the reps he's getting, and he's rolling with the first two groups. And, like, honestly, not just fits in, but stands out at times.
Now, let's talk about, we've seen officials, like full sets of officials out there. I know having them for scrimmages is pretty normal. I'm not sure how often I've seen them every practice.
It's big time to get defensive holdings, defensive PIs, like instant. It's honestly a little bit of quality control for the coaches as well. So just trying to keep the clock real.
Omar is obviously really immersive.
He was just talking about refs and keeping clock and getting the guys used to seeing a play clock again, and that kind of stuff in a hurry, because he runs a, call it whatever you want to. He runs a fast style, high school style, fast, quick. The plays are not have to be real in depth. We're going to be quick. We're just going to hit you with speed. We're going to throw the ball. We're going to let it go real quick, or we're going to run it. We're going to run it off tackle. We're going to run it off tackle. We're going to hit the end. We're going to play a speed sweep. We're going to hit a slant. We're going to hit a slant. We're going to hit a go. That's his playbook. That's how he plays football.
This offseason, what has he done, since you've been here to
He's talking about Mapson.
kind of cement himself in that room amongst, some of the other guys?
Yeah, just consistent. That's like when you're in a battle like he is, and there's certain spots where there's really, really good competition.
This is why I ain't heard nothing about Alvin Henderson. And I've covered like him and Crowell. We'll talk about him in a minute when Grubb gets on here. I've covered these guys for years in high school football in my state. From Elba and Jackson, the two, I ain't hear nothing, man. And Alvin was like, he is a Auburn kid. He just, in high school, he wore the gloves. He was so excited. He'd go to games on the weekends. He was always, when the crap and the storms were going on at Auburn, and I know this too from personal stories from I know kids that went and visited at Auburn, Alvin was the guy in the sideline stuff or in these little closed rooms when they hang out and stuff. He really promoted the school. He is all the way Auburn, and I just hear nothing about him. And I hate that because I like the guy. I'm kind of partial to him. I want to see him play. And I told him during the spring, if we're not going to see you play, go to South Alabama, just portal. But he won't. I guess he's not going to play, and he's just going to graduate. And that's fine. That's fine. Education is more important. He's not going to be a pro football player probably anyway. But a lot of guys are not. A lot of kids are not. He likes it there. Great. God bless him and what he's doing. I just want to see Alvin play.
You're looking for consistency. You're looking for the same guy every day. And it's a huge piece of what we talk about daily is, can you be the same person every day? Obviously, you want to improve as a player, but there's nothing worse as a coach than a super, super talented guy that sometimes is high, sometimes is low. You have no idea what you're going to get.
Now, you have to know coach talk, and he's talking between the lines because he's not going to call out no kids because he's not a freaking butthole. And I don't know who he's talking about, but Saban did this. DeBoer has done. All coaches do. They'll talk to their players in these interviews, and they don't call their names, but they know when coach is talking to them. So I don't know who he's talking about. This up and down stuff is like you're here, emotionally, but physically sometimes you're not here. Then when I get you here physically on day of practice, then I don't emotionally get you. So he's saying, I don't want this. We need a consistent day of practice. I got to have you here emotionally and physically daily because he wants to win. I mean, he don't want to get fired. He don't want to go hunt another job somewhere. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know who he's talking to, but whoever he's talking to, these get their crap together.
And he is the definition of what you're going to get every single day. Like works, it's consistent.
Talking about
ball security is consistent.
Omar.
He catches the ball is consistent. His vision's consistent. It just works. You almost like lose him sometimes because he doesn't say a whole lot, but he works. And he's grown as he's got more and more confident. And some really cool leadership ability to him. But this word trust that we continuously talk about, like he's building trust with his teammates, building trust with us. And ultimately, like I told these guys, if we're going to play the dudes we trust, and he's slowly but surely earned that.
Now, a lot of guys felt like Washington was going to be the two. He's okay. He played at Baylor, and he's okay. But when I watched him play last year, watching film on him, he played at Baylor, talking about Washington. He played – they highlighted a game like at Texas Tech when he played. Their defense, like when he played there like 2 years ago, they were like 80th. Don't show me a reel of like his best game against and I know the Big 12 can't, help it. Yeah, they just want it. Defense. The Tech's defense was bad that year, really bad, and it's better. But I mean, I don't know, they won like 6 games that year or something, or 7. Yeah, So I'm saying I'm not surprised that Mabson is the 2. That's all I'm saying. That's what I said, and I told their fans that, and they want to argue with me and fuss about it. I was right, and he was wrong. So just move on.
Yeah.
Now this is what I really like. I like this part. This is why I want to pull this up. But I like what he's saying. And it's not just coach talk, because I've heard hundreds of coaches talk. And I'll just let it play.
We made a decision. Sorry about that. We made a decision on drop balls. We're all going to do push-ups. So we're all going to do push-ups. It helps me get a little bit of cardio in too. So I'm trying to maintain it. We're
all doing push-ups on drop ball? Okay. Well, that's crazy, man. That sounds stupid. Okay. I agree with him.
Coach, I know you said media days 2 weeks ago you've received some of the blessings on the O-line that you asked for when you first got here. How would you evaluate the offensive line through the first 2 days?
Yeah, no pads. It's really hard, and that position's really hard to play.
The offensive line, our defense is going to come along a little faster anyway than offense, period. The most time-consuming, developmented position on the field, please ask anybody. If I know some recruiters, I'll put you on with a coach. It's the lineman. It's hard to develop that. It takes so much time. Because it's just not about your playability. Like to be a receiver, you run great routes. Either you're fast or you're not. You can either catch the ball or you can't. I mean, you can work on those things. And some of it's mental, like dropping balls, and some of it's just in their head. But offensive line, man, they have to talk to each other. So I know he had to ask a question, but if the guy played football, I wouldn't have ever asked. Don't ask that question. Day 2. Come on, they're in shorts.
Line's really hard to play when you don't have pads on. I would probably reserve judgment. They're over there hitting sleds still. So these dudes are working. There's some really good competition in there as well, which is helping. But they're working.
That's important. Notice he brought that up. There's good competition. Guys, if your line ain't got nobody push on besides a sled, they're not getting better. And when he come to Auburn, he ain't been there a week, and Pate interviewed him. You go back and find it. He was kind of worried they wasn't going to have enough kids nearly to practice. It's a mess, huge mess.
Better feel here as we put some pads on and we can actually be physical.
Anything else?
You had mentioned trust a moment ago in regards to that question with the push-ups, just stuff like that, little things. I know very early, but how have you seen that continue to grow every step of the day?
Trusting, being good teammates.
I think it takes time. It takes situations to happen. I think how you respond to situations builds trust more than probably anything else. We just talked after practice as a team and like the next step for us is when I come off the sideline that I don't just go grab a water bottle and try to suck in as much oxygen as I can. Like player-driven leadership is go tell the next guy what the heck is going on, go give him some encouragement. That builds trust. Guys doing the right thing over and over on the field, off the field builds trust. And I think we're working there. We're certainly not there. And I think it's a continuous process, but that goes it starts player to player, but it goes player to coach. They got to see it coach to coach too. Like they have to see the way we communicate, the way we handle adverse situations. And then ultimately it goes coach to player where, like I said earlier, we're going to play the dudes we trust. And so it's this never ending circle of situations happening, how we respond, situations happening, how we respond, us included. The push-up question's a great one. Like everybody's going to do push-ups because somebody dropped the ball. Well, if I'm over there, I'm part of the problem too. I'm going to do them. I'm going to be accountable. I'm going to do
All right. Yo.
So you heard that Johnny went on scholarship.
Okay. So there was Alex Golesh talking. You hit the comment peanut gallery over here. You got development, trust, and communication. That is super key. Alex Golesh there on the talk. What I liked about what he was saying, not just that he's doing up downs with the guys when they drop the ball. I like that. You can say, that's stupid, man. It's old, some dumb old stuff. Okay, whatever. I like it. And when I call out Auburn on bull crap that I don't like, I also got to compliment where things I like. I'm not a hater. I don't hate Auburn. I kind of hate Notre Dame. You just want to really get into it. I kind of don't like Tennessee. I don't hate Auburn. I got family that went to school at Auburn. Nobody hates Auburn. So what I really enjoyed about what he said was not just taking a drink of water, not just coming off the field. If you're the one and there's a 2 going in or whatever, or you're changing the package, nickel, star, whatever, Wolves, Bandits, and they're changing these packages in and out for defense. I'm just using them for example. Don't just run out to get a blow, get a drink of water, and stand over there and just breathe air. He's saying go talk. Tell your guys that are going in either far to you if you're swapping positions or if you're swapping a package, let them know, hey, this corner, I've been watching the past 3 reps. He's come up on a pass. He's cutting his routes off early. He's not running a good route. That's something we need to pay attention to. Maybe he'll jump that and pick it. Or, hey, he's faster out here on foot than what we thought he was. Get up on your horse because this dude can go. That's how you win. That's how you – listen, ask coaches, Hall of Famers, go ask Steve Smith at Westbrook. His best teams were the kids that come over and talk to him and tell him what's going on. That's how you adjust in the game. I mean, great coaches like Coach Smith and Coach Danny Horn or Coach Benefield at 5 or et cetera. They can adjust because they've seen thousands of games. But I'll guarantee you, get any of those coaches come on here and ask them, who tell me about your better teams, coach? It's the ones that talk to you as the coach. And they're talking to each other. It's crucial in sports, period. It's why it's a team sport. So I really like that about Coach Golesh and what he said over there about the guys not just coming over and grabbing a quick drink of water, but, being accountable. Hey, I screwed this up. When you go out, here's something to pay attention to, yada, yada, yada. So here's Coach Grubb. And he's talking about some of the offense. He does mention a little bit of stuff with the offensive line, talks about some running backs, receiver group, and he's given a good idea of what they want to do, and they do ask him about running the ball this year. So hit the thumbs up button while you're up here, man. Go ahead.
I'm kidding. Telling you guys crap. What's up?
Yeah, quarterback-wise, what do you see so far?
Just an extension of the spring and summer. Both guys are growing. I think the attention to detail right now is on the things that they know they got to work on. Each one of them has different strengths and weaknesses, but be very similar to timing last year, and that we've done every year back to 2021 at Fresno State. So same mechanics on that, and the guys will be getting equal opportunity and doing a good job.
What's the biggest area of growth you've seen from each of them in the summer?
The summer, I'd say Keelan did a better job taking care of the football in the summer than he did the spring. And then with Austin, I thought he was better on the run out of the pocket. I thought he really grew in that regard.
That's important. He said that Keelan took care of the ball better, not throwing over him a little bit or whatnot. His running and getting out of trouble is already good. Mac throws the ball very well, but escaping the pocket when things collapse down on him, he didn't do so well. He's got better at that. So those are good things.
Last year you rotated the offensive line a lot. Is that something you plan to do this year, or are you trying to find best five this period right
Best
now?
Best five. No, we always, there's injuries, guys that got to move in and out, things like that, but certainly want to get the gel right away.
What have you seen at the right tackle position with Javen James and Nick Brooks?
They've both done a good job. They battled back and forth this spring. Nick did a good job. We moved him around quite a bit. Javen really was just at right tackle. So seeing Nick in some different spots was really good. But both those guys, obviously Nick's massive, uses his size well. He's an incredible athlete for his size. And then Javen is probably one of the most savvy players we have up front. So I think both those guys are, getting the footing and trying to show demand. Like, this is my job. So they're doing a great job.
What about left guard?
Left guard, Will Sanders is back. It's been fun seeing him out there. We haven't seen Will for a little bit, full speed, because he had an injury in the spring. And then even, going through the summer, he didn't get a rep very much. So seeing him out there building reps right now has been exciting because, I thought Will was a heck of a player last year as well. He's done a really good job. And then Mal has been a guy that just really has, grabbed on that spot, tough, smart, and he's an excellent communicator, really done a nice job. So I think it's going to be a heck of a battle there.
How close are you to knowing who the best five is up front?
Reporters, please, God, somebody, this day too, the guy you heard a while ago, just ask Golesh, it's kind of the same thing. So what about you starting five? It's day two. The offensive line, what do you mean you know who? You don't know. You got a clue. God dang, man. Listen, reporters, I know everybody ain't played and, played a lot of football. That's fine. But if you've been around it long enough, you got to come up with better questions. There's no way they know. They're out there in shorts. You could ask it this way. Through these last 2 days, who it seems like has been more explosive, the last 2 days coming out. And we know all the guys are excited to be back. We're glad to be back covering you guys. Can't wait for the season. Give me a guy or two that's really been explosive. Don't ask about people starting god darn games. Who's your starting? We don't know. Golly, these reporters are terrible.
I think we're a little ways off yet, if I'm being honest. I think we got some time.
And that's an honest answer. It's day two.
Here, we got a lot of banked reps, so we've seen all these guys, with the exception of Will. Most of these guys have been out there quite a bit, so I don't think it obviously is going to take all of camp, but you'd love that to sync up with your quarterback decision so that you can get some unity going into game week.
How much more valuable is experience here in this program versus transfer experience from another college?
What do you mean?
He means this, of course, that's another dumb question. What do you mean, experience? Well, of course, it'd be greater if we had guys here that would stay. A guy to bring experience from another place, is it the same thing as getting experience from another place? Well, that's all football. And if he's talking about the center, he's got hundreds and 400 or 500 snaps at the center position from Cal Poly. Yeah, it's a small school, but he still snapped a lot of footballs. Now, has he blocked the same kind of noses or the guys or linebackers blitzing holes? No, he ain't blocked the same kind of competition he's going to see. These report questions.
The guys that have played here, you're saying?
Right.
Oh, I think anybody that has experience year 1 to year 2 at Alabama, myself included, is you're just going to be a step ahead. You come here and you know the expectations, you know what it feels like. And honestly, you get a little more excited, in my opinion. So I think those are the guys that are leading all the people and helping them understand how special this place is.
Last year, we heard a lot about execution and communication in the running game. What have you looked at from a coaching standpoint, from schematics and sequencing that can improve the running game?
Simplify and do your best stuff. Don't get inch deep and mile wide. Do what you're good at and be great at it. And Coach Clem has done an excellent job with, helping build that. And between him and Rich Owens, been super excited working with those.
Now, Owens and Clem are two offensive line guys. And Clem comes from a good background. We don't know. We're just going to have to wait till probably like game 3 or 4 before you kind of, game 1 you're going to have good stuff because they're going to have a big card already written out. They're going to play a little lesser competition in East Carolina. But you get to game 3 or 4, you ought to be seeing, how things are shaking out.
You guys and resurrecting the run game, and we will.
What's the criteria for winning the third wide receiver spot?
What's the criteria for winning?
For winning the third spot, wide receivers right now, I'm going to tell you from watching practice, Rico Scott looked great. I throwed up a little video yesterday, about 5 minutes, just little flashes from Ryan's going to be good. He looks bigger. He is older. And, of course, Lancia Brooks, man. I want to see Brooks catch the ball on some speed sweeps or something. Put him kind of like they did with Jeremy. Maybe take a wildcat here and there or something. So Brooks, Rico, and Ryan are your guys. But C.D. Morgan ain't no joke. Good Lord, if y'all seen that video yesterday. Holy crap, man. He's huge. He loved Julio. He's wearing 8 and wants to be Julio. And he played. He appears to be a lot like Julio. Played a lot like him in high school too. So receivers, they got about 6 guys we got 6 really good receivers, and they got plenty of tight ends.
It's a good question. I think that, you're still looking at the guy that's going to make the most plays, but part of that is understanding there's more than just catching the football. And the good part for us is I think we got 5 to 6 guys, especially when Noah gets back, that we can move around a lot of different spots. That's always been one of the things that I think makes this receiving corps special, and we've used in other places, that guys line up all over the place. Ryan, on the outside, Ryan in the slot, just moving these guys around. So I think one of the pieces is obviously having good command of the offense. Those are the guys that are easy to plug in almost anywhere.
Ryan, what have you seen from an Adrian Clem kind of led practice? Like, what kind of demeanor does he bring?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing about Clem is, that when you're looking at a position coach, you're like, does this guy got command, and is he a master teacher? And when I hear Clem at practice, it's always coaching points. Even if he's upset, not upset, doesn't really matter. There's a coaching point. There's a process going on. That's what has always impressed me. There's an immediate answer, there's a solution, and the guys know what that is. They can move on quickly.
How could Josh Ford impact the blocking with the tight end room?
Awesome. Ford's been great, man. His mindset, demeanor, how he works. I just think he's a big guy, right?
Yeah, you can see yesterday on those videos of Ford. I think he was number 40. Man, he's going to be very well utilized, I believe, in this offense.
Talking about 6'5.5", 270 plus pounds, and he's just a force in the wide position. But the guy that we're excited as well is Danny Lewis. Getting that guy back, you got 2 real wides that are, proven blockers, guys that can do it in this league. And then you got Caleb Edwards. I mean, you got 3 guys that are long levered players that are going to be impact players in the tight end room.
Given Lewis's injury history, what is the expectation for him?
Just let him play. And absolutely amazing. And then, Danny Lewis might be one of the best stories of camp. Compete at this level it's really inspiring. I mean, for coaches too. Runs out over his toes, has good balance. He's thick with the ball. He runs physical. He runs bigger than he is. He's got speed in the long end. He's just got to learn the game. He's got to learn how to practice full speed all the time. He's a great kid. He wants to do it. He loves being here. He's an Alabama guy. But he's physical. He's tough. He's got great hands. Sky's the limit for him. But he's got to learn the game. He's got to know how to practice. And he's got a good shot.
When do you think of where the running back room stands right now? What comes to mind?
Daniel Hill, is a guy that I think people are going to be really impressed. The transformation that, Daniel's had with his body. He's been a really lean in the 230s, low 230s, even in the high 220s. He runs different. He's got good agility. He's got great command of the offense. Super intelligent, excellent pass blocker. I think it starts with him. AK's been making a ton of progress. Kevin Riley coming back from a broken jaw has put the weight on. He's explosive with the football in his hand. We talked about EJ and then TB is Brown.
TB, yeah, he said Crowell, said his name, and I seen him yesterday catching some balls out of some, just drills, just quarterbacks throwing to receivers and running backs stand beside him. Then he'll throw to them some. Seen Jet Tamala throw the ball. All their quarterbacks are so tall. All their QBs, man, are like 6'4", 6'5". But TB, this Brown kid, dude, I'm telling you, I know you can't read about, what it's A-Day. Man, it's spring football. I mean, hell, they ain't even really trying the defense. Okay, that's fine. I'm telling you, by judging how he runs and how he moves, I like this Brown kid. I hope we can keep him because, Daniel will be gone. He'll be back again next year. And, I'm telling you, this Brown kid can shake and bake.
It's made an impact as well. So I think we got a lot of weapons in that room. It's highly competitive. The guys know that every rep counts, and they've been prepping that way.
If memory serves, you named Ty to start after the first scrimmage last year. Do you anticipate needing both scrimmages to make that decision this year?
Yeah, I think we probably will. Just younger guys, making sure we got every ounce of data we need. But if it's the first scrimmage, it's the first scrimmage. If we feel good about that after that point, then we'll name that. Obviously, the longer your team can have their starter name, the better off you are. We don't worry about the other team and who they know it is or isn't. We just want to make sure we make the right decision.
Is Monday the first day in pads, and how much anticipation is it?
No, tomorrow is.
Oh, tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yep.
What kind
Tomorrow.
of thriller is it to get into pads?
Oh yeah, it's
Big.
It's always
big.
been it's a science versus fiction books, right? I mean, we're out there whacking each other around. I'm really proud of how our guys, no pads, we practice physical, and we've done a good job on both sides of the football, understanding how to play, with physicality, with no pads on. So I think tomorrow they're going to be popping. I feel there's already been a different energy in this camp, even compared to last year with some veteran guys. I think you attribute that to a lot of open jobs and competitive young players.
One more.
You let us know about Jackson Lloyd pretty early in the spring.
Yeah.
Have you seen him kind of embrace that role of being a left tackle and just kind of?
Yeah, he's talking about left tackle coming in, and there's an interview with him by itself. You can find it I'm online or whatever. It's I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes. It's not really a great interview. He is a good young man, and he gives Nick Saban answers like, what's it feel like? I'm here to do my job and to the best of my ability and hold my teammates accountable as we all hold each other accountable. And, we exceed for expectations of excellence and, and then the process that he gives he gives coach answers. It wasn't a real good interview.
Improve himself physically this offseason too?
Jackson's really stoic, to the point where you wonder about what's this guy's confidence level and things like that. And I think that's one of the things that I've seen with Jackson, even in camp so far, is just the confidence is starting to come with his ability. He's a super talented guy, big, physical, crazy athletic. But I think the savvy he's already playing with at the age he's at already is impressive. His communication skills are still getting better, but he's done a really good job of that.
Okay, did you notice? Did he seem? He seemed a little less pissy this year, if that's a real word. We'll take a look here at some camp stuff here. We'll watch a little bit of footage. We'll speed through this a little bit. And I'll speed up just a little bit here. And let's see. And you can see, excuse me. You can see some of the guys moving around here. 0 is Pierre, Lons Pierre. And here's some linebackers and ends. Just moving stuff around the ball. There ain't no sound on none of these, so they don't get because they're playing music in the background, so you don't want to get none of that. So, I'll slow it back down so people, these are just drills on, getting your hips open, hand-foot coordination. That there's, nice, no play involved. We're not learning plays and stuff here. This is just, warming up and getting focused on the game and, being able to take verbal commands and, getting your depth set right to where you hands and you back pedal, and then you're out. You're on your back foot, you're pushing off, keeping your head down, running back through, finishing, those type of things, getting guys in a good groove. I think that's Coach Roach over there. Let's see. some up close and stuff here. Some of the guys, they look big and fast, man. That was from what I was told today too. The guys do look big and fast. Let's see. I'll find some. Let's see. Here we go. There you go. There's Pierre. He took 0 for his buddy Lawson. He's going to rep this year. He's going to rep the 0. He looked good too. And Dijon Lee and these guys, from your DB guys to Brown. Red Morgan is one of the most underrated players in the conference to me. Red Morgan is really going to show out this year. And, of course, it says Zay Brown. He's, a big-time guy. And here's, some of the guys catching some out of the backfield, tight end stuff. And I'd get first to get Bama get some white helmets, I like to see that. So anyway, that's kind of that. That's some Bama and stuff and online and Grubb talking and the news yesterday was holy crap. Okay, yeah, the Panthers and the Cardinals are playing pre-NFL game right now if people are interested. So the big question yesterday was, I guess we could bring this up, was Coach DeBoer saw that your team wasn't rated in the coaches poll there, but they wasn't in the top 10. Yeah, we're aware. Look, man, this guy gets ripped for, if he would have said, it don't matter what he said, they're going to have something smart to say. It's a bunch, they question what the guy wears, what different hoodie he's wearing, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. No matter what he says, somebody's going to have something stupid to say. Of course, it don't matter. We're talking about a freaking coaches poll. The poll that matters is going to be the one once you get around into October and stuff and the 1st of November, those are the polls that's going to matter. Those are the ones that you want to be. You'd like to be, in the top 7, 8, 9 or something. And we've looked at the coaches poll and I don't know. I don't think it's what do y'all think? I don't think it's a big deal. This is a new coaches poll come out. Of course, Ohio State won, Oregon 2, Georgia, Texas, Notre Dame. Top 5 is 5. You can reverse them in some different orders and whatever. Let's see. Georgia, Ohio State, Texas, Notre Dame, Carr, Manning, and so yeah, they all got their quarterbacks back. Okay. Oregon doesn't, I guess you could say they do, but they don't. Dante Moore is supposed to be, I did a big spiel on him 3 years ago coming out of high school. He was supposed to be like the next best thing since sliced bread. I'm talking about Dante Moore at Oregon. Now, he was at UCLA when he come out, and I've just not been impressed. And, I'll tell you the truth. I don't have no reason to throw shade at nobody. I like the guy. He's a good young man, and then old Ravioli is backing him up. He left Nebraska to go be a backup at Oregon, and then he threw shade at his old school at Nebraska. Well, there's not trees and, there's rolling mountains and stuff here in Oregon. It's so beautiful up here in Nebraska. It's just corn. Don't say nothing about your old team. Guys, kids, if you're listening, I got some young guys and y'all swap schools. Don't dog your ex school. That's just classless. Just don't do that. So other teams, A&M probably to me would be the team in the top 10 that could fall out quickly. I like Reed. I think he's okay, but he can put his team in a bad position sometimes. He may be one of the guys that that could get his team in trouble. And I don't know if there's enough defense there this year that there was. Also, Oklahoma, they got some dudes. They're going to be good, but I'm not a Mateer fan. I don't think this class in general, the quarterbacks, probably Chambliss and Carr probably be better quarterbacks, I guess. Saying that we really hadn't asked a lot of Saying really at Ohio State. We just didn't see a lot from him. BYU, I like them to be, top 15 or so, but Texas Tech, Sorsby's not there. They're going to have to go with another big guy. And then you got the Noah kid at Michigan. My God, man, Peyton Manning coming out this summer and kind of just said he didn't hate those to football. holy crap. You got Peyton Manning saying stuff like, yeah, I don't think this Underwood's really that good. I'm just telling. And Jeff, our Ohio State beloved fan from, that talks about, that TTU in that team up north. He can't even say Michigan. He's such an Ohio State fan. I love it. I think it's great. Some of the Michigan fans that he talks to, they don't know if he's going to be the starting quarterback. So quarterback controversy across the top of the board here. Some other teams to look out for that may fall out quick. I don't know about Tennessee. I'm not sure how they're going to I don't know, man. They better get it together. And Drink being at 25, that's cool. That's fine. Dabo way down at 23. I really don't know how he's ranked. He hadn't had a good quarterback play in years and years. You got to have good quarterback play. Find any good team. It runs to the quarterback, and that's just the way it is. So from Jackson Arnold at Georgia to, Arch Manning, those guys are back. That's why they get a little bump. Now let me ask this question. And I know I may not get a fair answer. That's fine. Does it seem to – I'm not going to get a fair answer. I don't know why I'm asking. Alabama fans, this is a person that covers football in general. It seems that Bama is getting a push down the ladder because a lot of media and probably 9 out of 10 of the media, these, local stuff, smaller college, coverage people didn't even play. They don't really understand any of it or ever been in a locker room. It must have meant they never even lifted a weight in their life. I don't know. It's like, well, we had to bump Bama up and some things like, well, we kind of think they could be 2, but Nick Saban's there. We got to put them in 1. Come on, Darren. Come on, Jeff. We got to put them in. Okay, we'll put Bama in 1. It seems like this year, last year somewhat too, but now they're just really scooting Bama down the list. Like they're getting like so no love. It's like negative love. Like they're purposefully pushing them down the list. It seems like they're purposefully pushing them down the list because of all the nods and links. Well, it's Alabama, we got to get them up, because that's Saban's there. I mean, they're going to show up. Bama got a lot of picked wins just because probably of Saban being there. I mean, we're talking about Vegas picking games to all that stuff. So do you think that, does it seem that way? Does it seem that Bama's getting a little pushed down the list? I mean, I'm just telling you what I think, and you can say I'm crazy. And tell me, hit the comment and say, no, Matt, they're not getting a bump down. Tell me what you think about it. So that's camp news and stuff, and I kind of just wanted to go over that. Any other and other stuff in the news, I don't really want to talk about it because I know, and everybody's talking about it. Y'all probably already know. I don't even watch WNBA. They had a coach come out, and she's wearing a shirt. Well, I'll have to go back a little bit. 2 young girls sitting courtside with a shirt that said XX and XY chromosome. Thank you, Sophie signed. A head coach from Seattle, some crazy psycho-looking short-haired dyke comes over and cusses them out. Embarrasses herself. The WNBA had to give an apology, and this kind of stuff. And then you had one of the coaches the other night at the WNBA game saying that trans kids are allowed or, something like that. I don't even know what that means. Like, what do you mean trans kids are allowed to come to games? Well, God, yeah, it's a free country. You buy a ticket, anybody can come to the game. You buy a ticket for anybody. Everybody's welcome. But if you mean like trans kids are welcome to, our players are welcome to play in the game. Okay, so you can spend about 2 seconds with this. That's stupid. Of course they're not, because boys don't play with girls. You do when you're in elementary school and at PE and that type of stuff, but it's just stupid to think that. And I don't understand I don't understand the women that are against women's rights. I don't know. I don't follow where are you going with that whole. Like we seen a guy over in France, 6'3", 250 pounds, muscle freak, is like the leading scorer, rebounder, and shot blocker in the girls' league. And he's like, some reporter asked him, if the WNBA offered you, would you go? And he's like, well, I would listen to a proposition to go over and play. And then they ask coaches after the game, because it's not even a topic. Why are you even talking about it? That's one of the coaches, what was their, idea of, trans people playing in the WNBA. One of the coaches actually said, I'm not educated on the topic enough. It's freaking first grade science. What do you mean? You either got a PP or you don't have a PP, you idiot. It's not, what do you need to be educated on? So stupid. So that I ain't spending no more time on that. But everybody's talking about it. And I just don't want to, because I think it's dumb. It's a waste of time, because it's just ignorant. It's ignorant to talk about men. Women sticking up for men to play with them in their league. It don't make sense. Does not make sense. Zach says that 1 through 4 I agree, but Notre Dame 5. He don't like them there. Ben, what's up, Rascal? You next week, some high school football teams will have jamboree games. Yes, true. We went over that back a couple of weeks ago. I think Sandrock, I think they're going up to section. I think that's the ones probably traveling out, some of the furthest and the most. And we did put up some high school rankings that come out. We went over that. A couple of weeks ago. Here's some other stuff. If you want to look at this college football stuff. This is Indiana's non-con games. So their non-conference games, this is who they play. North Texas, Howard, Western Kentucky. Next year, they're going to play Kennesaw State, Indiana State, UMass. You can go through Austin Peay, but they play no power forwards until 2030. They're going to go to Notre Dame, and they're going to host Notre Dame in 2031. So Indiana, big bad sick daddy, they're the best conference and the toughest in the world, and that's a bunch of crap because he's a coward. He can't even play power 4 teams in his. They don't. The Big Ten. See, this right here is what paid me off about all that. They don't have to play a power 4 non-con game. SEC has to play 9 conference games, and usually out of that 9, at least 3 or 4 are going to be ranked. Sometimes maybe 5 or 6 of them. Like, go look at Auburn's schedule next year. Holy crap. Oh, good luck. Go look at Auburn's schedule next year. It's terrible. It's crazy. But the Big Ten don't. The Big Ten can just play their 9 conference games. And like we said, Batiti told Sankey, you will play 9 of your conference games, just like we do. Sankey should have said, eat a bag. We'll do what we want. I don't do what you tell me to, because I'm taking care of us. We're ESPN, you're Fox. We're getting a TV deal. Y'all get a renewal before us, so don't worry about what we're doing. You just do you, and we'll see you in the playoffs. It's like he's worried about being called out, like he's worried about being called a sissy or something. Sankey, I don't understand that. And just taking orders from Petiti, because the Big Ten, Ohio State does. Now we've seen over here that Bama and Auburn too. I'll pull up Alabama first. Bama's, non-conference. They are going to pick up Ohio State. Okay, and they're going to play also and Marshall, and they'll pick up another D1 team, and they're going to play some smaller teams. But they got Oklahoma State and Ohio State in 2028, and they're going to play 9 conference games. Guys, that's a tough schedule. Then in 2029 and 2030, Alabama's non-conference games are going to be Notre Dame, Georgia Tech, and Oklahoma State. I mean, what else do you want? But the Big Ten is not doing that. That's not what they're doing. Here's Auburn's non-conference games. Of course, they got better this year. Auburn's fixing to pick up Notre Dame and play them for 2 years. Then in 2029 and 2030, Auburn's going to pick up Miami for a non-con game. What? And Indiana is going to play Howard and UConn. So anyway, I figured I'd just share that and go back through that again. It's absolutely ridiculous. I think that the future schedule look like at Ohio State's future schedule. No, yeah, no. No, there's Indiana's future schedule, Ben. Next year they got Kennesaw State, Indiana State, UMass. 2028 they got Austin Peay, Eastern Michigan, Miami of Ohio. 2029 they got Ball State, Eastern Illinois, and Western Kentucky. Like, what? Ohio State will, and we can pat them on the head and say, hey, appreciate you, stepping out. And some of the Big Ten teams do. I think Oregon and Penn State does. We know Notre Dame, they're not Big Ten, but they're independent. But hey, they're stepping out. They're going to play Auburn and Alabama. I like it. Maybe we could go to a game. I'd love to go see the old Fighting Irish, the most hated team in the South. So anyway, day 2 camps in the books. Those are some speeches from the coaches. Enjoyed that, and the big talk was about DeBoer being asked, "Are you aware that that Alabama's not in the top 10 for the college football?" And he's like, "Yeah, we're aware." Like, who cares? Where are we going to be ranked November the 1st? That's the one you need to pay attention to. So, thank you guys and gals for coming by and hanging out with me here for a little while. Well, they can play a crap game. Like, Alabama and everybody's always going to be, they're going to play at Chattanooga or Eastern Carolinas. And we like playing a little Western Kentucky sometime, Hilltoppers and stuff. But one of those 3 crap games, you got to play a power 4. Come on, Indiana. You can't talk it if you can't walk it. So y'all come back and see us Sunday night. We're going to have a big breakdown of some 2 more SEC schools. Diamond Dean will be back on with me. Sunday we took off, had some loss to some people that were very close to us, and shout out to those people and families. We love you and we're praying for you, and God give you family rest and peace. And but we'll be back Sunday, and we'll see you then for 2 more SEC breakdowns. And it's coming. We're going to have a lot of more SEC teams coming up, and really excited about breaking down more of these teams with you. And you can see here on the page, we're still got to talk about Florida. We're going to Oklahoma and Ole Miss, LSU. Got to break them down. And also Georgia, Alabama, and Auburn. We're going to break them down too. So this is the cover for the August book right here, Sports Talk. Glad y'all come by and make us a part of your day. We do appreciate it. And we'll see you guys Sunday live at 6 o'clock. Okay. Y'all keep your heads clear and your hearts full of God. We out.